You guys probably saw the NBA draft lottery news after the Luka trade and all the drama in Dallas. Is the owner going to move or not? The Dallas Mavericks ended up with the number 1 pick in the draft. Now, a lot of people are calling foul, saying that this reeks of the past NBA suspicious draft activity. So to get us started with 30-second takes, Noah, why don't you put yourself on the clock? You can get us kicked up. The question I have for you is the NBA rigged? Is the draft rigged?
Yeah, I'm glad to kick this off because I am no longer an NBA employee as of today, so I don't really have to dot my I's, cross my T's. But no, I say that, and I still do not think that the NBA or sports are rigged. I never have bought into that mindset. I know plenty of fans that do. I have never thought that way, though. Weird coincidence, sure. Shout out to Dallas because they look like they had a big brain play, I guess. But no, I don't think the NBA is rigged. Tell me why I'm wrong.
I don't know that you are wrong, but I'm going to let E weigh in first. You want to throw up the timer again? And same question to you, Eric. Is it rigged?
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. It's not rigged. It does feel that way when Dallas had I think it was a 1.8% chance of getting the first pick. But to pretend like that was the plan all along, it wasn't. First of all, you're banking on a guy maybe being good in a franchise player for you when you know you had a guy that was good in a franchise player. It's not really worth the trade-off, but to say that it's rigged, I think is just conspiracy nonsense.
Yeah, it's a lot. Thank you, Noah. I can bring us home. I agree with both of you. Now, am I naive enough to think that in the history of the whole NBA draft that there was never some shenanigans? No. There were a few things that were really coincidental. Sometimes they are coincidental. I do think that the league might put their hand on the scale every now and then off the court with some of the behind-the-scenes things and throughout the season and preseason and off-season. But that said, no. There's way too much money on the other side with sports betting and everything else. I think it would be wild to think that the NBA is just setting up what they want. Suspicious, sure. Rigged, I don't think so.
It's just interesting that this has always been a talking point, specifically with the NBA league, in my opinion, with the frozen envelopes and some of the other stuff back in the day as well. Do you put any validity into any of those claims from the past whatsoever? Or do you just think it's, yes, you do, E? I want to hear what you have to say, man.
Yeah, listen, when there's money involved and betting involved, we know in the past, because people have been prosecuted, that games have been rigged, that refs have been rigged, that they've been paid off. I think this is a carryover, though, of kind of old Vegas. I don't think it happens much anymore now that betting's become legal and to the forefront in most states, and that you could do it right on your phone. But when the mob still ran Vegas and they had money on the line, they tipped the scales in their favor by paying off refs, and it made sense. Today, it doesn't make a lot of sense. I think people read into it where there's a narrative, the NBA wants it a certain way, or media companies want it a certain way. And yeah, they might want that for ratings. Ratings equals dollars. But I'm a guy that believes in proof, and to keep a conspiracy like that quiet, I think is impossible. We talk about things like we never went to the moon, etc. The litmus test for me for conspiracy theories like that are, you don't have actual people involved that worked at NASA, or in this case worked for the NBA, coming out saying it's all rigged. And to be able to keep that a secret would just be an impossibility.
Yeah, I agree with Eric. It's too much money. There's too many things going on. There's too many people involved for it to be some widespread thing. Now, do you have to deal with one rogue player shaving points, or one rogue coach throwing in crappy game plans? Who knows? Over the course of the life of the league, has it happened? I would imagine so. There's probably no sports league out there that has a totally clean record. But if I sit down every night and wonder if the NBA is like WWE, where there's a script and they're just filling in the roles.
Don't diss the wrestlers, man. Don't diss the wrestlers.
I did not diss the wrestlers. They are athletes. They put their bodies on the line. I have a lot of respect for what they do. But it's not a real. They know the outcome before it starts. Let me put it that way.
Of course, I get what you're saying. But you don't think, I don't know. I guess it's just this mystique that follows the NBA that makes me think, well, maybe sometimes potentially, especially with like that ref that got caught calling fouls and stuff to help his betting and this, that, and the third. It's just, I don't know. This is the league. If there were a league to me that seems to be fixed, this would be the league that I would think would have the fix in. Is there a league that you guys think that might have a fix in at all? Or is this just a null in point topic that's not worth it?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I don't think so. I think that watching, you could see for yourself what's happening. I mean, take the NBA draft as an example. It's used like a lottery system with the balls coming up, etc. So you're saying somebody rigged the machine? Like, it's overkill to think of how it would even happen.
But they're billionaires, Eric. And I'm playing devil's advocate. I was the one who started this topic off by saying I don't believe that the NBA or any sports for that matter is rigged, but they are billionaires. There's a lot of money in that pot.
So are the other teams, though. So
yeah, but the Lakers are like, yeah, we're fine with doing the fix if you give us Luka, and then we'll make sure that the ball pops up so that the Dallas Mavericks get Cooper Flag.
So again, though, you have multiple teams and multiple people involved, and it's all kept hush-hush. They managed to keep a better secret than our own CIA, whose job is to keep secrets. Like, I just don't see it.
Yeah, I get it. I totally.
And the other thing that always brings it home for me is the question of why. Like, I don't want to pretend to be so smart that I could always figure out every contingency theory. But if you were going to rig the draft, would you let the New York Knicks stink for like 20 years? You know what I mean? Like, there's so many big brands and big teams that are huge for the NBA. Would the Lakers be one and done? Like, I just think that when you think about why it's rigged, it's easy to say, oh, look, turmoil and it's kind of crazy odds. But like, it wasn't in the NBA's best interest financially for LeBron James to end up in Cleveland for half of his career. He would have gone someplace else and been a bigger star, right? They could have got drafted by the Lakers in the first place.
That's a good point.
Some of the stuff just doesn't add up. Now, like I said, there could be all kinds of backroom deals and stuff where they say, oh, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. I know how politics works, especially with rich people, but I don't know. I just don't see the, oh my God, look at how great this is going to do for a league that's ratings are struggling. Let's make sure the Mavericks get Cooper Flag.
Dylan Northrup asks, and this is going into the Cavs a little bit, and I know we'll get there in a second. Wasn't it proven that game 2 is rigged? Not rigged. They just proved that in the final 2 minutes there was a missed call. That doesn't mean it's rigged, per se.
Several, but
the other thing I wanted to point out.
We couldn't score a point in 50 seconds or advance the ball. So, I mean, that's on us.
Right. That's a Cleveland Cavaliers problem, if you ask me. The one thing you did say, John, again, just to play devil's advocate with this point, I know we could probably move on, but you said, wouldn't it be better for the league if, LeBron didn't go to Cleveland? No, because they got to tell the story of the kid going home and, oh, he left and then he came back and brought a title. It was great storytelling for years and years. I would predict a storyteller to just so happen to have LeBron end up by this hometown team.
There's no doubt it was a really good story, but there's also no doubt that LeBron makes more for the league in New York or LA than he does in Cleveland. I think it's an excellent story. It was cool. It was fun. But if you're looking from a dollars and cents perspective, there are actual studies to say, yeah, what LeBron did could have been 20% bigger if he was in LA